سلام بچه‌ها خوش اومدی. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is everything okay? Because, you know, as every single time I turn on Streamlabs, I have my death messages over here. So yeah, just, you know the drill. Hopefully you know the drill. Just please kind of get confirmation that you can hear me and that you can see me. Please, that would be the most helpful. Hello babies. Hello Ross, always ready since minutes -3 because I was actually, everything's fine. Is the camera bumpy though? Because you know how sometimes it just gets a while to actually load and everything. Hello Claire, hi. So no Pat, everything is fine. Hello Typhoon, everything's good. Image and sound astounding. Thank you, not Ross. I do train hard for this, for you, Bicha. Salam, خوش اومدی. Welcome to the Monday stream of Las Plumas de Simur. My name is Plumas and I'm going to be your host for the session of today, which I am very excited about because you read the title. Fortunately, you saw the advertisement on my social media. Today is another session of the reading of the Book of Kings, and we are quite in a while. We're already doing 8 of these ones, which is impressive because I remember, all right, finally over this weekend I scratched some minutes, scratch as in like physically scratching like a proper cat. I scratched some minutes to do something that was on my bucket list, had been on my bucket list for a while, and it was transferring these episodes into a format, a podcast format. But that takes a lot of time, and time is not something I am accumulating, rather I am losing it. I just scratch every single minute out of the corners of my life every time I have to. So I didn't have time until this weekend to make everything ready for that. But now thankfully everything's ready, and if this is the first time you come to the reading of the Book of Kings, you are more than welcome to stay with us. But the previous chapters you can find either on my Twitch channel, which is this beautiful platform we encounter ourselves today, and also you can find them on Spotify podcast and on hello Maxi, how are you, and ebooks. There's the whole list and the whole episodes. Plumas expanding the net. I'm just doing so because I understand for these episodes the visuals are not that important, and after all it's just me reading and commenting the Book of Kings. And don't get me wrong, I love doing so. I wouldn't change it for a proper podcast format, and actually it's not. The audio is completely unedited, it's uncut. Whatever you're hearing now, you're hearing it on the podcast, just as simple as that. But I know loads of people like to have that on the go as they just venture through life, on the car, on the bus ride, while they're studying. I've been told that people listen to my podcast, to my reading of the Book of Kings as they study, which is one of the biggest compliments I'm ever gonna get in my entire life, seriously. So yeah, you can find that on, again, iBooks, Spotify podcast. If you actually type Las Plumas de Simur, the Book of Kings, you will find it, Shāh-nāmeh, the Book of Kings. And yeah, it's also here. Again, you're more than welcome to stay for the day. How are you, Bicha? How was your Monday? Let me know. I want to say, I'm going to take a sip of water as you reply to me. Yeah, how was your Monday? Have you had a good Monday? Have you had it rested and enjoying? Have you enjoyed your weekend? Let me know. Let me know. Because it's for me, I had a quite productive Monday, I have to say. Yeah, it's been productive, and for that I am very happy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes work is a little bit difficult. It's like a slippery slope. You don't know if you're going back upwards or downwards, but at least we're going somewhere, are we not? All right, so for the tea, what are we reading? What are we reading today? We're reading the Book of Kings. What are we drinking today? So you know I have this subscription, and every month I'm sent 3 different teas, and actually I picked up this one because I have already tried it, but it still blows my mind. Look at this, like the whole Christmas, I don't know if you can see it with the light, but the whole Christmas packaging and stuff. So this is a catch. this one is called panettone. Do you guys know what panettone is? It's an Italian sponge cake, very Christmassy, and is very popular in Spain too, which is where I'm from. And I don't particularly like it because it's no, it's not. I'm not a sweet tooth, I'm afraid. I like Nutella and chocolate a lot, but that's it. And okay, all right. So first of all, no need to use the caps, like the lock caps. It's okay. And second of all, this is a bilingual project. And yes, I can speak Spanish, but the Spanish streams are on Thursdays. On Monday, we do the English language stream because half of my audience is actually an English-speaking audience. So if you don't want to put up with translation or anything, you can always just switch off and come back on Thursday where we'll be doing the same. So, what was I? Oh yeah, panettone. Yeah, the thing is, this is called panettone, and I'm just gonna open it because it's not like it has panettone inside. It doesn't. So it smells like a proper panettone. How? I have no flipping idea. This is witchcraft to me. It actually smells like panettone. What the actual hell? Witchcraft. Let me tell you, proper witchcraft, Christmassy witchcraft. So actually, this has inside Chinese sencha green tea, Chinese Numi green tea. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering this. Shizandra berries, which is something I came acquaintance with when I got this. I had no idea those were a thing. Apple, rosehip, hibiscus, and orange peel. It's quite a nice mixture. I mean, the smell, I can swear, this smell is a proper panettone smell. But the taste for it, the taste is just tastes like green tea for me. There's a hint of orange, I am going to admit that, but maybe it's my palatal, I actually have no idea. So yeah, it's nice, is warm, whoa, what happened there? Oh, okay, right, something going on in the chat. All right, I actually didn't pay attention to that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's not. And hello, David. Hi, it's good to have you here. And yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of green tea, I would recommend, because again, it just tasted like green tea for me. So, are we ready to kick this one off? I have my loyal Book of Kings here. Again, if this is the first time you come to these readings of the Book of Kings, do not fear, do not despair. They are going to be available, all the episodes are available in this Twitch channel. And also, hi! Oh, sorry. Hi, Adorno. How are you? Hi, Plumas. This weekend I came across Vuelos de Leyenda and I've been enjoying it so much. Thank you so much. That is the sweetest thing. Thank you. That Adorno is talking about is a podcast I used to have, but I had to give up because of time reasons, and also because preparing a podcast is such a great effort. I don't know if I'm ever going to bring that one back, but yeah, it was such a fun experience. I learned a lot from other podcaster friends, and I really liked it, but it consumed too much of my time. It just didn't have enough to dedicate to it. But I'm really happy you're liking it. Oh, that's very sweet of you, isn't it? So, if you, my bookmark is here. Oh, can you see how much we have to go? This is how far we've been. This is how much we got. Ooh, chip thrills. So, if you remember last one, nice Dad! Oh my god, it's been ages in the last time I saw you here. So happy to have you here, love. How are you? Oh my god, sorry guys, Nysa is a good friend of mine. Yeah, and fun fact, we never actually seen each other personally, but she's the loveliest chuck, and I hope she's very good. And yeah, say hello to David for me if he's around. And yeah, you remember the last part was not a nice one. Last session we had of the Book of Kings was actually quite upsetting and very sad because yeah, you know, Feridun had 3 sons, and something happened with these 3 sons, and was very unfortunate, and it was heartbreaking, at least for me, because you know how important this book is for me. However, something positive this book has is that it's cyclical, in the sense that everything is born, evolves, develops, reaches its apex, and then fades and dies, but then it comes back again. It just makes its rebirth, this renaissance, this magnificent appearance. So what we are gonna do is that, you remember the name of the son. Feridun had 3 sons. The eldest was Salm, then the second one was Tur, and the third one was Iraj. Iraj was killed by his 2 brothers, and sometime after his death, which is again heartbreaking, is one of the saddest episodes inside of the Shāh-nāmeh, and believe me, of sad episodes and teary moments, this book has galore. Like, you know, you're never gonna have enough with that. So yeah, one of the wives, or the wife of Iraj, had a baby, and that baby girl, she was a lovely girl, she was promised to Pashang, which is another nobleman. And so we start now the cycle of one of the most important characters in the Shāh-nāmeh, which is Manusher. Manusher is, bear with me, important. Inside the cycle of Manusher, we have so many inner cycles, like side stories and side arcs of characters. Everything that's amazing happens here. And yeah, I am absolutely biased, because you know my favorite cycle is Sahok's cycle. That's right. But I really like Manusher. Actually, there's very little things in this book that I don't like. So let's go for it, shall we? Yes, we're gonna know of Manusher and his birth. So Mah-Afarid, that was the name of Irash's wife. Mah-Afarid's daughter gave birth to a splendid child, one worthy of the crown and the throne. As soon as the boy had been born, a servant took him to Feridun and said, remember Feridun's still around, and said, "Good news, your majesty. Look, here is Iraj." The king laughed, since it was indeed as if Iraj were alive again. How sweet is this? Actually, you can see your son who's passed away. You can see him in your grandkid. I think that is super sweet. I don't know about you, but I really think it's something very sweet. And actually that Feridun is able to laugh again, taking into account how much he's suffered. Yeah, I really like Feridun. We're gonna give that one to him, so yeah. I'm gonna read it out. It's super sweet. The king laughed, since it was indeed as if Iraj were alive again. He took the child in his arms and prayed to God. May this day be remembered as auspicious, and may your enemies' heart be defeated. Then he looked down at the child's face again and said, "Sprung from a pure mother and father, a noble branch has borne fruit. Wine has been poured from a splendid goblet. He has a clear, open face." This is Manusher, and may his name be Manusher. So this name is addressing one of the baby's qualities, which is like an open face. Please do not think about the baby's face being like open in two. No, it's actually not that what it means. An open face, a clear, like a faithful visage, like a trustworthy visage. That is very important. And then Feridun had the child brought up so attentively that the winds of heaven never touched him. The nurse who cared for him did not walk on the earth. Her feet trod on musk, and silk parasol shaded her hair. So basically Manusher is brought up because he's such a well-desired kid. Manusher is brought up in all commodities and in all luxuries because, again, Feridun has already lost his father. I mean, Iraj, which is Feridun's son. He doesn't want to lose his grandkid anymore. So yeah, he's pampered, he'll be spoiled, you know, we be spoiled. But when you're the grandkid of the king of the world, I think, don't know about you, Butcher, but I think you can allow yourself a little spoiling for your kid. Just a thought, just a thought. Throughout his childhood, no harm came to Manusher from the stars. Remember, anything according to heaven's right. I'm gonna mention the thing about the wind and the thing about the stars. If you have been with me in most streams, you already know how important the action of the wind is linked to both beneficial and not so beneficial creatures, in the sense that the cold wind is attached to demons and of black magic, whereas the warm wind is sometimes interpreted as a sign of the higher realms, as a sign of God. So in this case, when he's referring that the wings of heaven will touch him, it is a way of saying that Manusher basically lived his childhood unharmed. And the same with no harm came to Manusher from the stars. Do you remember how important the starter? Oh, Jack King of Right Now, thank you so much for the follow. Do you remember how important the astral birth charts of these kids were, of the Feridun's kids, when they were born? He took out the star charts for the births, and actually those define a lot how the boys were going to behave, how the destiny is going to be, and in those charts Feridun saw disaster. Yeah, in this case there's nothing actually, there's no harm, is everything's fine. So yeah, he's just brought up as a very fine, he's like a nice kid. Nothing is complicated so far, because you will agree with me that already a lot of things had been complicated from before. It's okay that we're giving these people a little rest, just a wee bit of rest. Feridun had him taught the arts of kingship. Remember, this kid is going to be Feridun's heir. So yeah, taught him the arts of kingship, and his heart revived as Manusher grew. Why is that? Because Manusher was basically the image of Iraj, who is his father. Oh, that is very sweet. The army too favored the young man, and the king gave him a golden throne, a heavy mace, and a turquoise-studded crown. So a turquoise crown. Interesting for him, isn't it? Oh, and he's given his grandson a mace, like a mace? No, actually, I think it's pronounced a mass. Yeah, a mass. Yeah, you know, like a heavy, like the oxen mass he used to have. Then he handed over him the keys to all his treasuries. Ooh, paycheck. Oh, how's this Litzy song? I just got paid. Yeah, just imagine Manusher being like, what, 15, 16 years old, and it's like, I have the keys to all the treasuries, like, as well as a royal enclosure made of brocade in various colors, within which were tents of leopard skin. Remember, the leopard skin, very important, is a symbol of the Khayanid dynasty, because this was what the first king used to wear, which is Kayumar's king in the mountain, the first king. He freely gave him Arab horses. We already know how important Arab horses are as a sign of wealth, as a sign of power and status. With golden bridles, Indian swords in golden scabbards, armor and helmets, bows from shash, arrows of poplar wood, javelins and Chinese shields. So basically he's giving his grandson absolutely everything. That's just, yeah, absolutely everything. He loved him so much that he thought it appropriate to give all these treasures accumulated with such toil to Manusher. Like, you know how grandparents spoil their grandkids? I don't know in your particular case, but my grandparents used to spoil me so much and give me basically not just money. And let me tell you something, if you are raised in a Mediterranean/Spanish country, whenever your grandma or your granddad give you money, you know, from behind to the back of your parents, so they want to know, it's like this tiny repetition, tiny performance that actually looks like a drug dealing or something, because it will pass the money on to you and then close your fist and put your face either to your pocket or to your chest, saying, keep it, but don't tell your mom, don't tell your dad. And I always thought that was a sweet. So hopefully you had grandparents who can more or less relate to when thinking this. I'm just imagining Feridun completely, you know, completely in love with his grandkid and just spoiling him and giving him absolutely everything. So yeah, because never, you know, with grandparents there is enough is not a word. Not with food, not with presents, not with absolutely anything. And again, if you're from a Mediterranean family, you know what I'm talking about. Shout out to all my Italian friends over there. All right, then he ordered the champions of the army and the country noblemen to come before him to acclaim the young man as king and to sprinkle emeralds over his crown. This is actually a little bit worrying, because how do you sprinkle emeralds? Emeralds are stone, and it's quite heavy actually. So how big are those emeralds, and how you sprinkle them on top of a, again, 17-year-old boy? Just imagine Manouchian just like holding it because he's supposed to be the king of the world, and like, and all those emeralds kind of raining on top of his nose, and his eyes like. Great festivities were held, and it became clear who were wolves and who sheep. The drama. Karen of the Kabiani clan was there, as well as Shirui, the army commander, and Andian. The armies assemble, and Manouchian dominating them as his flock. So basically the kid shows attitude for kingship. He's basically the son of the truthful heir, who was Irash, and all this paraphernalia, all this performance is just for him to be acclaimed as the truthful king, and yeah, just the rightful owner of the throne, basically. But do you remember the two fuckers, because I don't have a word for them, that were Sam and Tur, Feridun's sons, and the killers of Irash? They're still around, because they are still around. And news that the imperial crown shone once more came to Salm and Tur. Curse your names forever. It doesn't say, that was my own, sorry. Their unjust hearts feared the stars were turning against them. Haha, no wonder. Is that remorse? What are you feeling? Is that regret? The evildoers' days were darkened, and they took counsel together. Yes, because the last time you took counsel together, you came up with an excellent idea of assassinating your innocent and, you know, lovely, because you really like him, brother Irash. And remember, evildoers, that you chose to do so even though he was begging for his life, and he was giving up the throne for you, you son of a... Right. They agreed they had to seek a remedy for the situation, and the only thing they could think of was to send someone to Feridun apologizing for their past behavior. Apologizing! Hey, Dad, remember me? Sorry I killed my brother. We're good now? Apologizing! I think Ferdowsi was taking the piss here. They sought out an envoy who would be able to speak well and sincerely, and spoke flatteringly to him. Then, in fear of what fate would bring them, they opened the treasury of the West and chose from his ancient store a golden crown. Hi, Kiwi! They had elephants richly caparisoned and filled chariots, with musk and ambergris, gold and silver coins, silks and furs. And when all these had been made ready, the envoy presented himself before them, prepared for the journey. So basically, they're bribing, they're buying his redemption. At least they're trying to. Yeah, good shout. Nah. They gave the envoy a message to give to Feridun, beginning with praise of God and invoking blessings on Feridun, wishing him long life, health, and glory. They told him to say, remember, right, I'm going to make a little pause here. Remember the envoy here. His task is to memorize exactly word by word what Salm and Tur are going to recite to him, and then he needs to travel to Feridun's court and repeat the message exactly word by word. We've talked a lot in this Twitch channel about the important paper, the important role they play, the messengers, because sometimes if the message was of too much importance, you would not write it. In fear, you can misplace it, lose it, or break it, or that it could fall in the wrong hands. So what would you do? You would memorize the message, and you would be the container. That is one of the reasons, one of the many, the lives of messengers are sacred. So yeah, this what I'm going to read now, whatever Sam and Tur are saying to the envoy, is going to be repeated when he reaches the court of Feridun. The eyes of these two sinners are filled with tears of shame before their father. Their hearts burn with regret and they beg for forgiveness. Sorry. Wise men say that a man is punished for his sins, that he suffers and his heart is filled with anguish. And they say to the king that their hearts are tormented in this way. But these things were written in our fates, they say, and our actions have done no more than bring what was written to pass. Even lions are that terrify the world, and dragons cannot escape the snare of fate. What? So you're blaming fate? You blaming fate for killing your younger brother, who was, again, stressing it. Again, he was begging for his life and he was giving up the throne, so you had the choice not to kill him, yet you did. It is not fate. It is absolutely not fate. It's just to be a pair of assholes. Fate, my fate. Anyway. And then an evil and audacious demon emptied our hearts of all fear of God and made our mind his dwelling place. Do not blame the demons. Don't be such a coward. But we hope that the king will pardon us, even though our sin is great, that he will put it down to our ignorance, to the workings of the heavens. Are you blaming the heavens for what you did? What? To the workings of the heavens, which now save us and now destroy us, and thirdly, to the demon who scurries about the world and is ready for every mischief. Let's be clear here, Butcha. Iblis, for once, has done nothing. You remember Iblis, he has a lot to do with Sahag's curse, the thing with the snakes, but in this case, Iblis was not about. It was minding his own businesses. I don't know exactly where or doing what, but he was not there. So it'd be unfair that you're blaming Iblis for this one. And the letter continues. If the king will not look for revenge against us, our ways will be purified. Let him send Manusher to us, his suppliants, with a mighty army, so that we may present ourselves before him on foot as his slaves. So basically, you ask once your father to bring your youngest brother to you, and you killed him. And now you're asking him to trust you again, trust you enough to send his grandkid and said kill brother's heir to you. Am I the only one seeing the plot holes here? Maybe don't know. May we wash away with our eyes' tears the tree of vengeance that has grown from all his hatred. As the crown is renewed, we hasten to offer our tears and sufferings, and we send treasure and as an earnest of our good fate. It worked once, maybe it works twice, who knows? That's a good one, Kiwi. It's just like, I can't believe this too, honestly. I can't believe this too. So finally, the messenger arrives to the court Feridun, and yeah. His heart filled with words that had neither rhyme nor reason to them. Accompanied by elephant and treasure, the envoy came in splendor to the court. When Feridun heard of his approach, he had the imperial throne draped in Chinese brocade and the Khayanate crown made ready. He sat on the turquoise-studded throne, like a cypress topped by the full moon, wearing a crown, the royal earrings, and talk as befits a king. Damn, Feridun, you still have it! Prince Manusher sat beside him wearing the royal diadem, and the country's nobles stood ranged on either side, dressed in gold from head to foot, showing off, bearing golden maces and shields. Wild animals were tethered there with golden chains and collars. On the one side, lions and leopards, on the other, war elephants. So they have animals on court. This is super important. Why? Because it's saying to us how the courts were displayed, how a typical court scene, well, not typical, but like a very high level court scene would be displayed. What would you encounter should you visit a court of the highest level in this moment in Iran? So you see, everything's a performance in here. Everything is a performance, everything's carefully orchestrated, the position of the animals, the position of the courtiers, where the prince is, where the king is, and what are they both wearing. This is something very important because in the drapery, in the crown, the jewels, and the display of the banners, there's a powerful message. What is this message? The one that's been around since the beginning of time. I am the one in charge. You come into my court. I hold the power. You obey. You listen to me. I'm being kind enough to allow you enter my dominion. But bear in mind, those are not your lands. You're in clear disadvantage here, and I am the ruler who you must kneel before. Boom, because Feridun knows what he's doing. I really like him. Wish your kingship never end, Feridun, but we need to, move forward. The warrior Shapur. Ooh, Shapur, like the Sasanians. It's not Shapur, the historical one. Don't worry, that one's coming. The warrior Shapur left the castle to welcome Sam's messenger, who dismounted and ran toward the doorway. When he approached King Feridun and saw him crowned high on his throne, he bowed his head and placed his face against the ground. You know what he's doing because he knows. Oh, but Shah knows. The king motioned him to a place on a golden throne, and the messenger began his speech. Santi14 thank you for the follow. This is what the messenger says to Feridun. Great king, ornament of the crown, the throne and royal seal, whose throne transforms the world into a rose garden, and whose good fortune illuminates the air, we all are slaves of the dust beneath your feet and only live for you. You see, the messenger, basically, amazing image of the court they have given to us. Yes, I mean, this was very impressive. The kings and the courtiers are performers. The whole court is a big performance, it's a game, it's a carefully crafted game of position of power and symbolism, and you need to be very well fitted and well skilled to be able to play it. I think this is one. I haven't read the Game of Thrones, I mean Song of Ice and Fire. I am not I'm not a reader of that saga, but I'm pretty much aware that the whole name of the first book, A Game of Thrones, explains it very well. This is a political and military game, and they're playing it. And what the messenger is doing is, because he knows he's coming on behalf of Salme, and Tur, he's allowing himself, he's protecting himself as the other one did. If you remember in last episode, the other messenger, the one who delivered another message to Feridun, was saying, I'm about to deliver a message you don't want to hear, and I want you to say that this is not my word, these are not my paragraphs, I am just reproducing, please do not kill me, I love you Feridun, do not hold me responsible for anything that I'm saying. What is that, Kiwi? What's the closest historical likeness for this court? Sasanian? No, probably we were talking about the Buyid court, the Samanian court, or the Ghaznavid court. The courts Ferdowsi had contact with. Yeah, the Ghaznavid, no, historically actually, in order, it will be the Buyids, the Samanids, and then the Ghaznavids. So, yeah. Because Ferdowsi started working for the Samanids, but they were kind of wiped off by the Ghaznavids. So yeah, like at the turn of the millennia, around like 999, around 1000, exact year 1000, the Ghaznavids took over the Iranian plateau. So yes, that is a court it will be possibly most faithfully reproducing. And again, to remember, like, this is epic poetry, so everything's a wee bit exaggerated, so remember to take absolutely everything I'm reading with a pinch of salt. This is not a historical book, and even in historical sources we have exaggeration. So basically these are symbols to show that Feridun's a powerful king, wealthy, very wealthy, with all this play of, like expensive brocade, these textiles, the clothing, the garments, all the gold display around, the beasts, the beast tamer, the king as a beast tamer, which is an image we have in iconography since ancient Mesopotamia. Do you want me to talk about the beast tamer one day? Just let me know. Here, Inja. And yeah, basically it's like just everything's very symbolic here. So yeah, when the messenger is more or less when he's made sure that Feridun knows he is on his side, Feridun smiled on him and made him welcome, and the envoy repeated Psalms and Tour's message that disguised truth with lies. So basically, Feridun, the moment he listens, he already knows what his sons are like. He's tested them, he's seen them, and yeah, there's not much these two could do for there's not much these two could do to redeem themselves, because Feridun, he's been the father of these three. He's seen them grown, he's seen them do the most disgusting things. So still he listens, because Feridun is patient. Hi, I'm from Spain. Oh, what a coincidence, I am from Spain too. The king listened to his fluent talk, asking pardon for the two brothers and suggesting that Manusha visited them. When, as his slaves, they would welcome him and transfer to him their crowns and thrones, paying the blood price they owed their father with silks and gold, crowns and royal belts. The envoy spoke and the king listened, and his answer was as a key that opens a lock. So now, basically, the two brothers are suggesting is that to prove their good faith and their good intentions, Feridun has to send Manusher, accompanied and well escorted by an army, to these two brothers. And then these two brothers will give up their crowns to the future king, showing that they are repentant and they just don't want to keep up the resentment they have in their hearts anymore. But Feridun, what would Feridun say? Do you think Butcher is going to allow the kid to go with them? Do you think he's not going to do so? I'm going to actually give a good sip of my tea, because I haven't yet. Yeah. This is a funny one, though. Yeah. Oh, I love Feridun. I already know what Feridun says, and believe me, it's just perfect. As every single speech of Feridun in this book is just on point. Every time he opens his mouth, why not? He's big up enough. At least to me, every time Feridun opened his mouth, he could allow himself a good mic drop, because he just slays. He doesn't speak, he slays. So, when the world's king had heard his evil son's message, he answered the envoy point by point. Careful here. He said, "How can you hide the sun? The hidden workings of their evil hearts are clearer than the sun in the heavens. I've heard all you said, and now pay attention to my answer. Tell those two fearless, shameless, unjust, malevolent wretches that idle talk counts for nothing, and I will not indulge in it. If they feel such love for Manusher now, where is Iraj's body?" Man! "It has been devoured by wild beasts, and his head was sent to me in a coffin. And now that you've finished with Iraj, you wish to start on Manusher? You will only see him accompanied by an army with an iron helmet on his head, bearing a mass and the Kaviani banner, the ground blackened by his horse's hooves. He will have the commander Garen with him, and Shapur, Nastu's son, will command the rear of his army. Sarv, the king of Yemen, will be there in the vanguard to advise him." Right, so what? So basically, you see how, Feridun is a very wise man, I've always say it. But Feridun is he's so deeply hurt in his heart. He's so hurt. He's hurt because they took his son from him. And remember, he even specified, if you love this kid so much, where is his father's body? It's like they know how to explain things a little bit. Yes, I mean, he's asking, he's even repeating, you killed my son, and no content with that, you severed his head, sent it to me in a coffin, and had his body devoured by wild beasts. That means we could not put him to good rest, we cannot bury him as a custom, so this was such a disrespectful way to do. I already explained this. So you can see here, all the poison that's sprouting from Feridun's tongue, how probably his teeth and his tongue turned black as he delivered his speech, because he is not forgiving what they did. Because assassination, murder has no reason for it. And yeah, he's just saying the only way you're gonna see your nephew is because he's gonna charge against you, because, and he continues, we look to wash the leaves and fruit of the tree of vengeance for Iraj in blood. Boom, the sentence. We look to wash the leaves and fruit of the tree of vengeance for Iraj in blood. Wow. Previously, we did not seek vengeance for him because we did not think the times were propitious. It would not have been suitable for me to fight against my two sons. But now that a noble branch has sprung from the tree that his enemies uprooted, you will find that a savage lion longs for vengeance for his grandfather's death, and that he comes with our champions, Sam, the son of Nariman. Keep an eye on this one, Butcher. Keep an eye on Sam, son of Nariman. And Karshasp, who is descended from Jamshid, that the army stretches from one of the mountain to another and pounds the earth beneath his feet. As for their demand that the king should wash all thoughts of revenge from his heart and forgive them, because this was the doing of the heavens, because their wisdom was clouded and their love overshadowed, I have heard all these futile excuses, and respond with the saying of a wise man. The man who sows the seeds of evil never sees one happy day or the joys of paradise. If God has forgiven you, why are you so afraid of your brother's blood? Have you no shame before God, with your black hearts and your tongues filled with lying words? You will be punished for this evil in both worlds. This act will not remain hidden. This killing is going to have a response. This is what Feridun is saying. This what you did will not go unpunished, because according to him, God is already punishing them in the afterlife, but Feridun is going to make sure they receive a punishment in this life. Because you see, Feridun is pissed. He's very angry. And then they sending an ivory throne, war elephants, and a turquoise-studded crown is supposed to make me give up my longing for revenge? Like, are you trying to buy me? I'm to sell princess's life for gold? Venga! He's saying, I'm not selling you. I'm not selling to you, my grandson. Oh, long live Feridun. He's by far one of my favorite kings in the whole book. I'd rather my throne, my crown, and my glory were destroyed than to do such thing. Perhaps some dragon spawn would accept a price for a priceless life, but who says that an aged father would do such a thing for his son's life? You see, he's stating his conditions for Feridun, as in for the whole, in Zoroastrianism and both Islam, life, which is a creation of God, is to be sacred. So that's the reason killing is one of the killing is one of the commandings. Yeah, one of the commandings of God. When you tell your parent a funny story and they turn it into a sermon about the things you've done in life. Exactly, that's what's going on, Kiwi. And yeah. He's basically saying that life is priceless and cannot be, a life that has been taken cannot be replaced, not by gold, nor by turquoise-studded thrones and jewels or like wild animals. That is impossible. Iraj is gone, and it's gone for everything. I imagine some gods watching all these eating popcorn and sipping their teas. Possibly nice, possibly. So yeah, Feridun finishes his speech saying, I have no need for this wealth that you've sent, and there is no point in me talking anymore on the subject. This father will never cease to long for vengeance while he lives. I've heard your message, hear my answer. Then to Envoy he said, spell this out to them, sentence by sentence. Now, go. As is the man. The envoy heard these terrifying words and observed Manushed seated on the throne. He withered away in fear and rose trembling from his seat. There and then he sat in the saddle to depart. This noble young man saw in his soul all that was destined to happen, and that it would not be long before the heavens frowned on Tur and Salm. So basically, you know, we've talked about this before. The people that had the right to rule in the Shāh-nāmeh are protected by Far. And Far, this glory, is not something we humans are, just unaware of. We're very much aware. People can't recognize Far when they see it, and some characters of importance for the plot had actually indeed identified the Far-bearing characters. Remember, it happened the same with the owner of Barmaye, the cow. Team Cow forever and ever. We are Team Cow in this house, and it happened when the owner of Barmaye recognized Feridun, although he didn't know his name, he didn't know who he was, but he was able to see the kid was destined for greatness. There's actually a quite common trope in mythology that the main hero, the main protagonist, is able to be recognized not by his identity. I'm going to try to rephrase this. Not by his name or his exterior identity, rather by his inner identity and his truth his truth being his actual unmutable truth, who he actually is, which is in this case a protector of mankind, and also the one protected by the heavens and Far, which is the glory. So the envoy, when he says Manusher, he's able to perceive that this kid is in fact blessed by the heavens and bears heaven's protection. The Far just shines on him, and he knows, and he's able to see what destiny is in fact awaiting to Salm and Tur in just a split second, just as he is standing up to go back on his saddle to depart. He crosses eyes with Manusher. Manusher stares at him. I don't know how old is Manusher at this point, but he's young. He's still very young. By young, I'm saying like 15, 17 years old. And the envoy, as his eyesight crosses with that of Manusher, he just knows. He knows what's to come. And he's afraid. Why is that? Because he is the one who has to deliver the message to Salm and Tur. So, yeah, cheers for that. He sped like the wind, his head filled with the king's answer, his heart filled with foreboding. Poor thingy. Yeah, it smells like panettone. I can only taste green tea. Am I that simple? More than possibly. When he reached the west, he saw a silken tent pitched on the plain where the two kings waited for him. Remember that when dividing the world, the whole conquered world, Feridun gave Salm the Far East, he gave Salm China, and he gave Central Asia, the land of the Turks, to Tur. So yeah, there they are in Central Asia waiting for a response. They're not gonna like this one. So they made a space for him to sit and ask about the new king, or something else. I'm never gonna get tired of speaking about messengers. You need to be aware of the high status that messengers bear, in the sense that they are allowed in direct presence of kings, and they are allowed to speak to kings, to princes, and to to high revered people of society. Period. That's one thing. So they are actually allowed to sit and to just move about these these substantial figures. So they're not just riders. They're just not people who jump on the horse, go from here to there, and then deliver messages, like repeating like like a parrot what they learned. No. These people are highly respected, very respected. Just remember that. They questioned the envoy concerning the crown and the imperial throne, King Feridun and his army, the assembled warriors, and the state of the country. And then they wanted to know how the turning heavens had favored Manusher. They want to know every single thing. Who among the nobility was there, who the vizier was, the state of the treasury, and who the treasurer was, how many cavalry were assembled there, and who the leader was, and who the army commanders were. Basically, they want to know everything in case they think they stand a chance against Feridun. You don't. Spoiler alert, you don't. Just don't. The envoy said, poor thingy, I'm fearing this man so much. The envoy say, let the man who has never seen the glories of spring see Feridun's court. It is a place of spring-like joy, a heaven. The dust there is ambergris, the earth is gold. The heavens smile down on his palace. No mountain is as tall, no garden as vast. As I approached, the palace summit seemed hidden among the stars. There are elephants tethered on one side, lions on the other, and all the world bows before his good fortune. His elephants bear golden howdahs. His lions' collars are studded with jewels. Drummers stand before the elephant, and the blare of brazen trumpets sounds from every side. The world seems to seethe, and the earth roar to the heavens. His head was as white as a camphor. His cheeks rose like petals. His heart seeks peace, and his words are kindly. The world's hope and fear are in his hands. Beautiful is this? And you would say that Jamshid lives again in him. How do I express to you how important these words are? All this description, all this chunk of text I just read is to describe Feridun's prosperity, Feridun's status, Feridun's state as a king. I am in love. Why is that? Because I love Feridun so much. Oh, he suffers so much, poor thingy. On his right, there we go. On his right sat Manusher, as tall and elegant as you guessed it, a cypress tree. And what is that, Kiwi? But isn't Jamshid bad? Jamshid is indeed bad. It's at the end of his life, he took the wrong turn and kind of have a very dramatic and not so nice downfall. But the thing is, Jamshid did great things for humanity, and they do remember that. Jamshid is the first one who lost the Far, for sure, but also he is the first one to have just put the world in order. And everything relating to order and organization goes back to Jamshid in this case. On his right sat Manusher, and as tall and elegant as a cypress tree, as kingly in his heart and language as Tahmures, the binder of demons. So now he's listing. He mentioned Jamshid, and he mentioned Tahmures, which is the wizard king that learned how to speak different languages and how to write them down thanks to his power to surrender demons. So yeah, the warrior Qaren stood before him, and to his left was Sarv, the king of Yemen. Sarv is his vizier, victorious Karshasp is his treasurer, and no one has ever seen such wealth as in his treasury. Two ranks of warriors line the palace walls, bearing golden maces and with golden diadems. Qaren and Dian Shirui, the destroyer of lions, and Shapur, who is like a war elephant in his rage, are his commanders. The full report. He's asked for the full report, and he's given him. The air is darkened when the war drums sound from the elephants' backs, and if they attack us, our mountains will be flattened like a plain, our plains encumbered like mountains. Their hearts are filled with hatred, their faces with frowns, and war is their only and one desire. So basically the report of this messenger is, guys, it's not looking good. Whatever you did, your father said like bullshit. Feridun called bullshit on your attempts of apologizing for killing your younger brother. Remember, it's not like they left the dog outside or they forgot to take out the trash. No, they killed your brother. So Feridun is having none of that. It's just none of that. And they say, well, you see, they want to come to war, and let me tell you something was screwed, basically. He told them all he had seen and the words he had heard from Feridun. The hearts of the two criminals writhed in anguish, and their faces darkened. No wonder. They sat and looked for some remedy, but their words had neither head nor tail to them. Then Tur said to Salm, We must forget about peace and tranquility. Tur, just shut up. The last time you spoke, you betrayed your younger brother. Just, honey, Aziz man, shut up. Just sip it. Shut the front door. I'm begging you. No, he continues to speak. Jesus. That lion cub must not sharpen his teeth and become brave. How can we be devoid of talent when his teacher is Feridun? When grandfather and grandson conspire, something extraordinary will come of it. We must prepare for war and make up for lost time. So basically here, Tur is saying like, you know what, because you know Tur is not the nice one. Tur is actually the hot-headed one. So he stands up, I'm imagining him standing up saying, you know what, that's it. We tried to apologize. Our father is not taking our offers, so let's just prepare for it. To hell with apology, to head with repentance, and to hell with redemption. We don't want that anymore. We are going to war. They gathered forces from China and the West and led the cavalry out. The world was filled with rumors, and men flocked to their banners, but thought their armies were limitless. Their stars were already declining. Sorry, I'm going to read that one. The war was filled with rumors, and men flocked to the banners, but though the armies were limitless, that's it, their stars were already declining. So, the two armies made for Iran. Their soldiers were hidden in helmets and armor, and war elephants and wealth accompanied the murderous brothers, whose hearts were bent on destruction. So basically, yeah, they tried to apologize. Didn't succeed. So now they're marching against Feridun and Manusher, thinking that if they are able to overcome the kid as he's still young, they still stand a little chance to conquer and to get the world's throne, which in the end, that is what these two conspirators wanted in the very first place when they killed his brother. So yeah, the armies are set. They are ready. They're marching against Iran steadily and not stopping. Oh no, I guess they're stopping at some point. And the hearts of these two are completely gone by now. They were gone by the moment they killed his brother. But here, Ferdowsi kind of tricked us. He wanted to show it as if there was a chance for these two to be forgiven in the end, and to a peaceful, happy ending to occur. But no, nay, hell to the no. A war is coming, and let me tell you, it's one of the most brutal and most represented wars in manuscripts. But of that, we'll speak another day. This is all we're going to read about today. Thank you so much, Bachar, for tuning in with me. I hope you have enjoyed the reading. Remember, if this is the first time you come across this, do not worry. All the episodes are available in the Twitch channel, on ebooks if you actually look for a podcast, and on Spotify podcast. You can look for them, you can listen to them on the go, and yeah, I finally gathered up time to do so. So thank you so much for joining me in the reading of the Shāh-nāmeh. I'm actually quite excited to carry on, continue, because something is coming, because something very important happens during the reign of Manusher. I'm not going to say anything, I'm going to hold it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and if there's no further questions, thank you to everyone who's clicked on follow in this channel. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed. You helped me greatly with it. You were great as always. Thank you. And I said, yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's clicked followed and subscribed. Thank you so much to my patrons, my patron family, who's, they are responsible, they have my back, and they are the reason I am here, week after week, month after month, and as the situation is looking, year after year. If you want to support this project on Patreon, feel free to check that one out. Patreon.com/Las Plumas de Simur. Just have a look, have a browse. There might be a tier for you, and in there you will find extra content, behind the scenes content, exclusive Patreon updates, and much more. I am the only community manager I can pay for. Bear with me. And yeah, and if this is the first time you come across the channel, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Plumas, and I am the host. And we'll see each other, if you speak Spanish as well, we'll see each other on Thursday at 6 p.m. GM time, and if not, we'll see each other on Monday at 6 p.m. GM time, always the same time. If you want to keep up with updates and comment streams, you can follow the project on Twitter, on Instagram. Just feel free to do so. And if there's no further questions, if there is nothing more for you guys to say, thank you for joining me as always, and we shall see each other soon. We shall see each other either on Thursday or maybe on Monday again. I am looking forward to that, and until that day comes, as I always tell you, create, explore and have fun.